The date was November 2nd, 2010. The Boston Celtics and the Detroit Pistons were wrapping up what would turn out to be a 23-point bashing by the Celtics. With about 2.5 minutes left in the game, Celtics forward Kevin Garnett and Pistons forward Charlie Villanueva got into a physical altercation which resulted in a double technical foul being called. What we didn't know at the time was that there was also a verbal altercation that was going on between the two players. This was not discovered until the following day when Charlie Villanueva took to Twitter. Villanueva publicly denounced Garnett, claiming that Garnett called him a cancer patient. Now this would most likely be due to the fact that Charlie Villanueva had a bald head. Garnett's comments can be taken as offensive in two ways. The first being that Villanueva is bald because of a rare skin condition he has called alopecia areata. This disease prevents him from growing any sort of hair on his body at all. Secondly, this comment would be seen as controversial or offensive because Garnett would be making fun of people who suffer from cancer, which is the most prevalent disease in our nation and our world today. So many people losing their lives to cancer every day, and it's impossible to find someone these days who doesn't know someone who has been affected by the disease or has been killed by the disease. So these comments were not taken lightly when they were put on Twitter. Later that night, KG released a statement through the Boston Celtics, reading, quote, "My comment to Charlie Villanueva was in fact, you are cancerous to your team and to our league." So basically he was denying the fact that he called him a cancer patient, but rather using the word cancer in another form, claiming that Villanueva was a poor image, or brought a poor image to the league. There were pretty much two basic reactions that were found on social media from fans, analysts, other athletes, etc. The first reaction were those that were appalled by what Kevin Garnett had said, thinking that this is a terrible thing that you could say about cancer patients, that it's not their fault that they're bald, that they're going through a terrible disease. And obviously many people, like I said, have been affected by cancer. So it really tugged on the heartstrings of a lot of fans and viewers who were hurt by the things KG had said. Conversely, however, there were other people who were annoyed with Villanueva for even posting these things in the first place. A lot of people believe that trash talk is part of basketball and part of sports in general, and that what goes on the court should stay on the court. Now, this point of view is actually what caught a great deal of attention from the mainstream media. It sparked a debate basically on whether or not athletes should be tweeting or posting on Facebook or whatever social media outlet they choose to vent through, whether they should be sharing such personal things that are going on in the game, whether there's a debate now whether there's room for that in the internet. And actually the Celtics head coach, Doc Rivers, commented on it, expressing his disdain with social media. Doc's a no-nonsense kind of guy, an old-school type coach, and he's one who does feel that social media and sports, obviously they have to coexist in some form or another, but in his opinion, there's a line, and that line was crossed when Villanueva was taking the things that Garnett said during the heat of the moment for fact, and putting them out in the internet for everyone to see and for everyone to make quick judgment on, without Kevin Garnett being there to defend himself. When it comes down to it, the biggest impact that social media really had on this issue at all is that it brought forth an issue that without social media and without Charlie Villanueva's action wouldn't have been a story at all. No cameras picked this up, no microphones picked this up, no fans claimed to have heard this, no other athletes claimed to have heard this. This is something that 10 years ago wouldn't have been a story. No reporter would have reported this in a paper without confirmation. This is something that, with social media and access to Twitter, Charlie Villanueva can post whatever he pleases to post. So in this new world of the internet and social media, there are obviously new lines being drawn every day, And I think that, unfortunately here, Charlie Villanueva has crossed one of those lines. I'm not a big fan of Kevin Garnett, and I'm appalled if what he said was true, but that's exactly the problem here. We don't know if it's true. Kevin Garnett did not have the ability to defend himself, and the claim doesn't have to be confirmed by any number of sources before it can be published. Villanueva simply can go online, tweet whatever he wants to say, whether it's true or not, and that's that. Then the fans and the rest of the world have the ability to do with that information what they please. I'm obviously a big fan of social media, and I love to see the growth of it, and I love Twitter and being able to follow my favorite athletes and analysts and journalists. But at some point, we need to sit back, and think about what we're tweeting before we tweet it. This was Liam Morlath, student at Full Sail University. Thank you for watching.